We're now streaming live.
Live streamer, wider than wild.
Good job. Gillmor gang.
Where's Markman? Okay.
Uh-huh.
Oh,
I
don't know.
I'm sorry that I gave away that mic. If I'd known you'd win it, I'd have sent it to you.
That's a nice looking mic.
That's a sure.
Okay.
That's the James Brown mic from
Quiet, please.
1963.
Okay. We are hopefully streaming to Facebook, X, and LinkedIn and YouTube.
I got Facebook.
What's X again?
Formerly known as Twitter. And we're about to start the Gillmor gang. We'll be not waiting for Keith. He's going to be a little late. And hello, Michael. So we're about to start. We're going to do mute is off. And we're going to go in 3, 2, 1, and
Take two.
oh, what's wrong?
Nothing. Just do it again.
Okay. Mute is off. And we're going to go 3, 2, 1, and.
Hi, Steve Gillmor here. This is the Gillmor gang. Welcome to from London, England, Frank Radis.
Hello, Steve. Hello, gangsters. It's nice to be here in this freezing cold, very late night for me. It's very late for me.
Oh.
Well, we appreciate
It's not that late, but for me, as you know, I'm an old guy. I go to sleep at usually have dinner, blue plate special around 4, dinner around 5:30. I mean, sleeping, a couple of movies, streamers maybe, and 6 o'clock. I'm out like a light.
Well, you get a lot done in 2 hours, buddy.
Don't I?
Okay, from
There you go.
the framework of Massachusetts is Dennis Pombriant.
Here I be. It is cold and late here as well. Sunset is something like right now or in a couple of minutes. It's one of the getting to be the shortest daylight days of the year. It's amazing.
So we've got a hard stop for our next contestant, which is Brett Leary from the state of
Confusion.
Fusion. Yeah, I knew somebody's going to get that in. Hey, this is happy SEC Championship Eve to everybody. It is an official holiday here in the SEC country. I just came back from the market. I actually posted this picture on LinkedIn. As soon as you get into the market, you're greeted by this display of all these balloons. They're UGA, University of Georgia, for those who don't know, and Alabama, because they're the two teams playing in the championship game. And because I'm in dog country, the UGA balloons outnumber the Alabama balloons by like 5-1. So
what does that mean, dog country?
UGA, the Bulldogs of Georgia, the dogs.
And what is their ranking?
They're number 1. I mean, they haven't lost a game in like 3 years.
How about
Stop bragging, Brad.
I'm not. Hey, look, I'm not bragging. You
He's
know,
just reporting the facts.
Yeah, I'm still a Rams guy. Matter of fact, literally just before we started, I got my latest batch of Rams gear.
Woo! Very nice.
Can't wait.
I really miss the days when Tommy Tuberville was only.
Oh,
Oh, yeah.
good old
I
Tommy.
get that one either?
Tommy Tuberville used to coach
I
Auburn.
know what he does now. Really?
Yes, that's what he's known for.
Yeah.
That and now something else, but you know.
That's a football thing, Steve. Just,
I thought it was keeping the military on its toes or off its toes thing.
He spends most of his time in Washington, offsides and holding.
That's what she said.
Perfect. Okay, from the state of Seattle is Michael Markman.
How do you do, everyone? Seattle is in a state.
That's good to know.
And
Is it cold, Michael? Is it gloomy?
Uh,
Are you
it's
playing any sort of football?
it's 40. It's 46 in the Fahrenheit scale here.
Oh, that's lovely.
We've had some freezing nights, but it's come up to the 40s most days.
Okay.
Ooh.
from right next to me on the couch,
Uh-oh.
it's Ed McMahon. No, it's Tina Chase Gillmor. Welcome.
Hello. Hi, folks.
Hey.
Excited to see you all as I always am. And let's get this party started. Yay.
Yeah.
Okay, well, usually what I would do is ask everybody what they want to talk about. I'm not going to do that this time.
Ooh, tricky.
Oh, are we done
So
then?
we're going to talk.
So we're going to go right to the Musk story then, right?
Go ahead.
Which
What is it?
one?
I just want to know if did he sink X? Do we think that his shenanigans will sink that site or
I've
not?
been thinking so for months now.
This friend of mine who's just a brilliant advertising guy named Lou Pascalis has been writing a lot about it, and his point is that he just can't come back from what he did the other day. But I've also been reading some things that the people have very short memories. The advertisers will let this go for a while and then come back in. I actually don't see, personally, I don't see X going down the tubes like a lot of people are saying, just because of his shenanigans. I think it might still be there, and I don't know who it's going to serve, but the numbers are too big for it to just go away. That's my opinion.
Well, you can't look at just the numbers. You got to look at the quality of the numbers. And I think the quality of the numbers is deteriorating pretty rapidly.
I wonder how many of the numbers are real.
Another good point. Whose numbers are they? Who reported them?
Well, no, but also what's a bot and what's a person? I don't know.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Well, I haven't been on the site since Musk blamed the ADL for losing advertisers, so I don't know what it's like currently. Those of you who are current members, what's the state of things?
It's the
Let's do an
same.
instant poll. Who's still a member of X?
I mean, I don't use it anymore, but I guess I'm still a member. But
Yeah.
does that count? Well, I don't know how does that count? Somebody who still has an account but just doesn't use it.
Yeah.
That doesn't count. I just don't think that. I use it only because it's one outlet for my newsletter. That's really what I use it for. I just stick the newsletter on it and just see what happens. And every time I go to it, pretty much the same people that I see normally, that I've seen normally for the last maybe year are the ones that pop up right away. It's not that interesting to me. I'm not getting a lot of ads. Honestly, I'll tell you, the funny thing is that the number of intrusive ads that I'm getting is happening on Facebook more and more these days.
Yeah.
Yeah. A lot.
Hey, did any of you see the Ray-Ban Meta amalgamation or partnership?
I haven't.
So Ray-Ban has glasses that use Meta and Meta AI to deliver stuff to your screen or your
eyeballs.
Yeah.
Your brain.
Yeah. And I saw it online the other day. I don't know anything about it other than that.
I don't know. I don't know anything either. I did see a photo.
They're nice looking
with some icons.
They're nice looking glasses. I mean, they're Ray-Ban glasses but they're thicker on the sides because all of the equipment is stuck inside these things, whatever they call them, and
the temples,
the temple thingies.
Sir Keith is here.
Evening, all.
Good evening.
Hello, Keith.
Hey, have a pleasant day.
Are you in London now?
Yes, but it doesn't feel like it. Unbelievable. Like Heathrow is so. The electric passport had like 5,000 people lining up to go through it.
Wow.
So you probably could have gotten through normal line with the stamp and everything faster.
They don't let you do it anymore. They're not manning them, so you've just got to go through the electronic one. And then they have overspill. If it doesn't work, you go to this one booth that has an even longer line because there's only one person doing it.
Something for me to look forward to when I come back in a few days.
Exactly.
Oh, that
kind of reminds me of going to the Dominican Republic. Yeah.
I put it down to the decline of the British Empire.
Oh, okay. Well, no, I think it's because that book outed King Charles and the princess.
The crown crown is on.
Yeah, but it's in error.
Keith,
no, it was a publishing problem. I think it had something to do with translation.
What, from English to English?
I have no idea what that excuse was.
What are you going to say, Tina?
Keith, Dennis had just brought up a deal with Ray-Ban and who was it with actually?
Meta.
Oh, Meta.
Yeah. Meta.
Have you heard anything about that? Because we were a little curious, but a little uninformed.
Well, there's a historical deal that's now in version 2 that just came out, Dennis. So I think you might have seen all the stuff around version 2. And it's these glasses that have an outward-facing camera that does both video and stills, and it's got speakers, and you can listen to music, but it doesn't have an inward-facing screen equivalent, so you don't see anything in your eyes.
Oh, okay. But you can talk to it as well.
You can talk to it, it can talk back to you, and you can take videos and movies and photos.
Thank you.
And it connects to your phone, your smartphone.
It connects to your smartphone. You get an app, so you see the pictures on your phone.
I'll wait for the movie.
It's almost, it sounds like the Snap glasses, but they're nicer looking.
They're Ray-Ban Wayfarers. They're nice glasses.
And you can go into a local store and get your prescription put into them.
You know, that was the question I couldn't find an answer to. So you can get your script in.
Yeah, I think it's Lens Crafters. I've forgotten, but they've partnered with a big high street spectacle brand, and you can pretty much anywhere you can go in and get fitted and your prescription put in.
But now glasses don't we get some visual feedback that we can look at?
No.
Well, on the phone.
On the phone, yeah. By the way, that's the one fact I'm stating as a fact that I'm only about 80% certain of, but I've seen no evidence of any inward-facing screen type thing.
I agree. I think I saw a 2-minute trailer, and it didn't look like it was showing anything, and it didn't.
Did Google Glass give you images in the glass? I can't remember. It seemed to me it had a little mirror.
No, it
thing.
did. It did.
Yeah.
There was a square thing. Yeah. It wasn't very great, but it did. But it does have the sociological problem that Google Glass does, which is that there's visual evidence that you're taking a video or a photo outward facing, so you can look creepy.
Yeah.
So it has like a little red light that goes on when you're taking videos.
I think it's a white light, a white LED, I think, but it has a light.
Yeah. Oh, well.
That's just like a warning to other people that, you may be recording them, right?
Yeah. And for those of us who are creepy, the last thing you want is people to realize it.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Well, then you don't get what you want.
Right. You need deniability.
You can't always get what you want, though,
Well,
wasn't that a song?
Thank you.
Based on these, kind of a little bit sketchy, but a little clearer understanding of these glasses, is anybody going to empty their pocketbook and try them?
You are, Tina, from what Steve says. You guys are.
Yeah.
His and her. Getting
Steve
his
looks
and her
up.
goggles.
You can tell when Steve's not paying attention.
From you.
No, but I am going to tell you that I got an update from my iPhone 11 to the 15 Pro Max. Thank you very much.
Oh, that's a huge upgrade there.
Wait a minute. Is that the 15 Pro Max?
It is.
Hold that up. Let me see that.
That's my
Wow.
It doesn't look all that big.
It doesn't actually. It looks like the.
I don't think it's any bigger. It's
The
just
Pro
more-
Max is supposed to be
more
what,
Pro.
6 point something inches?
Yeah, but it's the same size as, I think it's the same size as the biggest phone they had last year and the one they had the year before that.
Well,
It's still a lot of phone.
I'm
Yeah,
going to
it
be
is.
I'm going to be in Los Angeles next week, and hopefully I can go to an Apple store there and buy the phone I want to buy and actually walk out with it. I hope that's the case.
Yeah. And maybe you could get some streaming shows too.
You can order it and make sure it's there just in case.
If I just,
Order-
I have to find out which store I'm going to go to.
Yeah.
Yeah, chicken and
So,
egg.
so is that all you've talked about, this meta thing? Have you talked about anything else?
Well,
No,
we started talking about whether or not X was actually going to go down the tubes or not, and that ended pretty abruptly. So
So let's keep it like that and move on this.
let's talk about George Santos then.
I just want to say that this week my love for Elon went up about 1,000% when he told the advertisers to go fuck themselves.
And I would like to say to all of the advertisers who are boycotting the Gillmor gang, same message. If you think you can bribe us by not advertising here, well, you know what you can do to yourself.
Thanks
Yeah.
to everybody who showed up, and especially those who don't.
Yeah.
We have a
Especially
special-
those who don't show up and don't sponsor.
But by the way, I did agree with the analysis that said he was probably on ketamine when he said it, but still, it was great.
Well, that's a sleepy drug. I'm not sure of that. I think, did anybody see the announcement of the truck? He was really having a hard time, I thought, presenting that truck and trying to read the prompter or whatever he was trying to do to remember what he was supposed to say. It was very uncomfortable, I thought. Plus, that truck is really ugly.
Wow, didn't see it. What a
It's
shame.
really ugly and somewhat preposterous. Why is it bulletproof? Why is that a key feature? Is he trying to sell it as for presidential limousines?
Look, I can see an F-150 being bulletproof, but I don't know about the Tesla. That's just weird.
No, he knew he was going to buy Twitter. He knew he was going to become hated, and he was preparing.
You wouldn't.
Yeah.
I wouldn't drive in that thing for anything.
Well, I think we
It's
should just, throw him off. This is a meeting of the board, and I think we should just fire him.
I don't. I think the person that's really going to be in trouble is Linda Yaccarino. Whatever kind of a reputation she had before she went there, which, by the way, I'm not sure that her reputation was that sterling at NBC, other than the fact that she had a good team of people there, but she kept changing it like every few months. The sales group at NBC, which kind of doesn't feel right to me. I think she's in deep trouble.
Hey, she's
I
getting
don't know
well
what
compensated.
do you mean
for
by trouble?
I was just gonna
it's not a
say,
job.
Well,
It's
I
not
mean,
a job. She does her job and she gets paid for it.
So much fun.
So how much trouble is she in? People,
well, but how
people
does
don't
she
think very
do?
well of her, but she has her job.
How does she do her job if she can't sell advertising?
Well, it looks like they're losing big advertisers, but they're doing everything they can to bring in junk advertisers to make up for the revenue.
There's a lot of that.
But they're also, did you see today? I've had a lot of time in queues today, and so I've been reading my phone.
That to the rest of you, that means he's been standing in line.
It's standing in line in Hamburg and in London. And the interesting thing is that they're trying to build a campaign against Iger. So it's like the Trump strategy of when you're backed into a corner, make the other guy the bad guy. And I think it might work. I think Disney might end up looking bad.
Well, they're doing
Well,
that on their own.
Okay, so there is on X a faction of fanboys for the right, for Nazis, for Elon, who are like Trump's fanboys. And if he points the finger at Disney, then Disney's a bad guy. But I don't know what it'll amount to.
I think he's reached his sell-by date. I don't think that tactic is going to work. I don't think it's going to
We'll
work
see.
anymore.
Trump has
What do you
reached
think?
sell day. Trump is leading by 50 points.
Yeah. How many votes have been tallied so far?
Yeah, well, we'll keep hoping.
Well,
Has anyone here read the Robert Kagan piece from the Washington Post yesterday?
yes.
I don't know if I have.
It's a pretty sobering assessment of Trump's what he calls inevitability. Trump is not losing power. Trump is not losing status, and when the votes start coming in, if he is not defeated roundly, everybody's going to, at least everybody in the Republican side, is going to flock to him as a defensive move. So his power, at least within the Republican Party, is going to continue to grow.
How does it grow when it's at a maximum? How does that grow? What's the measure of growth?
That's what she said, Frank.
Exactly.
That's what, to quote Erwin Corey, that's what he
Adam
said to
said.
Adam. He said, "Stand back. I don't know how big this is going to get."
Yeah.
I don't know if Corey originated it, but I know that Robin Williams appropriated it. He used that line a lot.
So did Erwin.
The question of whether he's
who's doing that?
Somebody's got a scratchy microphone.
Yeah,
you asked that.
Are you okay, Brent?
yeah, but something is really keeps happening with scratching or something. It's really loud.
Yeah.
And he's got really good cans, so it's even twice as loud in his ears.
It's one of the two of my turntables, I think, Brent.
Too much scratching.
There you go.
So, Steve, you asked about how Trump could grow if he's at the max. So the question is, the theory of the case is that there's a faction that's just locked into Trump. There's a faction that is locked away from Trump, but there's some kind of middle who is thinking about how, when Trump was in office, there wasn't a big war in Ukraine. When Trump was in office, there wasn't a big war in Gaza. When Trump was in office, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. The memory of how Trump botched the COVID response seems to be fading. People stop blaming him for it. So somewhere in the middle, there are a bunch of people who are not really paying attention to anything yet, who might be gettable. That's the theory.
Yeah.
I noticed
Okay.
that the other thing
I doubt it. I don't think that's a reasonable theory.
Oh,
He's been speaking to a.
Remember that the election is going to hinge on about 40,000 to 60,000 people in 3 or 4 states.
None of which.
All of the rest, you could get Steve Kornacki to come in here and flip the board right now without even counting them. But there are going to be those 3 or 4 states that, who knows?
So
of the states that are the 3 to 4, did you say 3 to 4, or did you say a few more just a second ago? 3 to 4, 6.
Well, it depends who you ask. It's up to 5.
Of those states, how do those states play with the abortion issue? And
Not
what
clear.
factor is that going to be? Because if it does come down to people voting on that issue, how is it going to swing? Because that was not an issue on the last election, and it is this time.
Ian is
I
exactly
agree.
right.
Trump, is trying to, I don't know if he'll succeed at it, but he's trying to kind of shade his position on that. And he's castigating the Republicans for being too extreme on abortion. I don't.
This is coming from the guy who bragged about ending Roe v. Wade. They're going to play that tape on a loop. We're still almost a year out. This is all going to come down to it really doesn't have absolutely nothing to do with Biden. This is all going to be about Trump and all the people that are wringing their hands. Oh, Biden, no, I wish we had another alternative. When you finally get to the reality that there is no other alternative, it's either Biden or Trump, it's going to be a replay of what happened in 2020.
So that's a replay of the Musk interview on that question when he said, he started the interview, Musk said, there's no way I'm voting for Trump. And the guy said, well, what if, there's no way I'm voting for Biden. And the guy said, well, what if it's Biden versus Trump? He said, well, there's no way I'm voting for Trump. So who are you going to vote for?
You can vote for, Kennedy or the woman.
You want to throw your vote away, that's absolutely your option. And
or you can stay home.
Or if you really don't want Trump, you do what some people do. You hold your nose and you vote for the anti-Trump. That's it.
This is going to come down to the how much money gets spent in advertising in the last 3 months before November.
Well, look, if it's Trump versus Biden, it's a toss-up. If it's women's rights versus banning abortion, it isn't a toss-up. So it depends what it's about, and that's the savvy that the Democrats need.
Presidential races are not about issues. They're about,
well, unless you make them like Vietnam.
Well,
that it didn't work actually. George McGovern got one. The District of Columbia, I think, was the one somewhat of a state.
Wow.
Oh no, Massachusetts. We went.
Oh, I forgot. That was the other one.
Yeah, we had the bumper sticker. Don't blame me. I'm from Massachusetts.
Isn't abortion a better?
It is
a better version that is less likely to lose. And if you could associate abortion rights or women's rights, I think, free choice with civilized society in some way, as opposed to barbarism.
It's not really hard to tie Trump with, like I said, they're going to roll these. He's been bragging about, I'm the one that ended Roe v. I mean, if you play that on a loop, and if abortion is really that big, a deciding factor with a certain percentage, even in those swing states, just play that on a loop. I don't care what the dude is saying now. This is what he said leading up. He put remember, my judges, I got the judges for this. All you had to do was play that stuff over and over again, leading up to the election, voting day. And if abortion is that big of a deciding factor, it's over. It has really nothing to do with Biden. Nothing at all.
Well, so the counter issue that goes the other way is the number of young people who are anti-Israel and arguably on the fringe anti-Semitic, who hate Biden for supporting Israel. And you've noticed in the last couple of weeks, the Democrats and Biden have backed off the message. And the message is now all about pause and ceasefire and human tragedy, as if October 7th never happened. And not never happened, but at least is not the primary driver of what should happen next anymore. And there is, that issue's become politicized against Biden, especially amongst young people.
Well, I agree with Brent, which is, by the time the election happens, that all this stuff about Biden is a non-issue, number one. Just like it was a non-issue the last time he ran. Who of us actually thought that Biden was going to be the nominee, let alone the winner? Not me.
Not me either.
No.
Especially after the first two states, Iowa and New Hampshire, he was getting killed, wasn't he?
He was.
Yeah, and he got killed, and then
South Carolina.
No, not
Jim Clyburn.
Yeah, South Carolina.
That's what I said.
I heard North.
Well, that's not what I said.
But see, now that the Gillmors are in South Carolina, they are guaranteeing a victory for Biden in that state, right?
In this house, yeah, maybe. But it's not clear.
Vote there, vote in California, and vote often.
But I do feel like maybe I can make more of a political difference in South Carolina than I can in California.
Of course, that's delusional on her part, but
well, I'd like to think so. I'd like to think like those efforts are more like it would make more of an impact.
Did anybody watch the DeSantis Newsom debate?
Clips. I didn't see the
No.
debate.
I did not, but I did see some clips.
Yeah, and what was your take?
Well, of course, the clips that I saw were clips that Newsom's fans were posting to the socials. So they were all remarkably pro DeSantis. I mean, pro Newsom. I didn't hear DeSantis say a word. So I don't know what the overall debate was, but Newsom was apparently on fire and making great points.
Yeah, and in the press, I mean, the Times and the Atlantic both, without saying so explicitly, I think gave it to Newsom on points.
What was the context of the debate? What were they? Why were they even
Newsom
debating?
challenged him to a debate, and he said yes.
Hoop in
That's a
San
good
Francisco. That was it.
Well, it was it was Newsom mainly as a surrogate for Biden, and DeSantis as a surrogate for DeSantis.
Yeah. So the one thing that I
Putatively,
read,
it was California values versus Florida values.
yeah, yeah, and
But,
that was what a lot of the reporting was that the issue was that DeSantis kept going after Newsom for what was happening in California, and Newsom was going after DeSantis for what was happening in Florida, like you just said, and that put a kind of a crimp on the ability for either of them to get any kind of a big national message. But also, and from what I read, it appears that Newsom was managed to thread that needle and do that.
Yeah, I think in that light, it probably hurt DeSantis more because DeSantis needed to show national and international chops, and he got into
Anything from here on out
about
DeSantis more.
states. What's that?
Anything from here out hurts DeSantis more because he hasn't got what it takes to beat Trump.
Well, he certainly doesn't want to display it. That's for sure.
Well,
Now, really, what
you know,
Republican running for president wants to
many
take on
people
Trump?
are saying, and I tend to agree with it, that all of the candidates for the Republican nomination are running for something other than the Republican nomination. None of them seems to really want to, except maybe for Chris Christie, which is nowhere. But none of them seems to really want to defeat Trump. They just want to show up and maybe run in 2028, or maybe get some position in the Trump administration. But they're all being non-aggressive.
Yeah, it's amazing how much they're investing in. Would you please? How much they're investing in nothing really. So much can happen in 4 years.
Or they're running for, well, maybe Trump will go to jail and there will be an opening at the top.
Yeah.
But they're certainly not running directly to defeat Trump. It seems to be
But
an
I mean,
impossibility.
Trump doesn't have to. He can be president in jail.
Yeah,
There's nothing to stop that.
that's right.
Hmm.
That's what they've said.
That would be something.
God, I don't know how that happens.
Well, you just have to apply the insanity clause.
I said it on the show before, but I think if Trump is in jail, he gets more votes, a lot more, actually.
And just think about how insane that statement is just on
Yeah.
its face.
And also how not realistic it is as well.
Well,
Nobody ever accused me of being realistic. That's not.
Well, I'm just saying, if it's about AI, you seem to be more enthusiastic.
But
there is historical precedent.
So,
James Michael Curley, the corrupt mid-20th century or early 20th century mayor of Boston and one-time governor of Massachusetts, went to jail for his crimes and was running the city of Boston from a jail cell. Oh, would you please? We just fed you twice.
Cat or
Every time
dog?
you admonish me like this, I want to find my little bone and just run away. What is that noise?
Dog. It's dog.
No, it's
My
something.
doggy.
If I had a VU for each
Dog
screen, I
cookie.
would know, but I don't.
Day.
Must be dog.
Okay, anything
Okay,
else?
go ahead.
We have a hard stop for Brent in.
Oh yeah, I had a question for Dennis. Do you have any local insights into the geothermal heating option that's going on in Framingham?
Oh,
No, I don't. I actually, I'm completely flat-footed. I didn't know anything about it.
Well, they're apparently doing some kind of underground heat pump for residential housing in Framingham. I just see the headline, but I thought that's something that would be in your field.
Bailiwick.
My bailiwick. Well,
Bailiwick.
I'll investigate it. I'll have something for you next time. The question becomes immediately to me is whether or not they're using conventional furnaces to create steam and pipe it into a bunch of houses, which is the way a lot of universities are set up and hospitals are set up. You walk around a hospital campus in the winter and you see steam escaping from a manhole cover, and that's what it's all about. They've got one central building that is responsible for making steam and pushing it out to the other peripheral building. So I don't know if it's that or if somebody is actually trying to harvest heat.
I think it's a bit of the latter. Manhattan has centralized steam. You see that steam from manhole covers a lot if you walk around Manhattan, and
Sure.
I've heard it was from the Con Edison power generation. While they made electricity, they siphoned off the steam through pipes to heat many buildings in Manhattan.
Yeah, that's called cogeneration. Happens a lot. It also happens with natural heat sources, like in Bath, England. Bath was built by the Romans as a bath because they could tap hot water coming out of the ground. It was a wonderful perk if you were a Roman legionnaire.
Get clean and stay warm.
is
Get
it
clean soon.
that men think about the downfall of the Roman Empire also?
I don't.
Yeah, that was.
Empire didn't fall. It's still operating.
Et tu, Brutus.
Well, that goes against the British Empire narrative.
British Empire collapsed because it had to fight 2 world wars.
No, you're not understanding my point, which is if Rome is still going strong, then British Empire falling apart is probably still going strong too.
Well, and Turkey. Let's not forget the Ottoman Empire.
The consequences of going from first place to sixth place are highly exaggerated. It's still a pretty nice place.
I mean, well, you know, you could say the same thing about the Soviet Union. Those things take forever to die. I mean, yeah, they're not terribly cohesive, but you know, in their twilight. But there's still a lot of relationships that have been built over the course of years and centuries that are still active. And look at the British Commonwealth.
That would be my point.
Yeah.
But I'm not hearing from the representatives of the British Commonwealth that everything's okay. Mean.
Oh, things are pretty okay for me. Yeah.
So the little known fact is, using the pen name Keith Thompson, I wrote a book about what happened to the citizens of the British Commonwealth between 1961 and 1981. It was called the First Immigration Act. That was 1961, up until which the UK had more than 400 million citizens that could, if they wished, live there.
Right.
And then by 1981, the British Nationality Act said you can only be a British citizen if your grandparents were born in Britain, which was almost always yes for Australians and Canadians, and almost always no if your skin was brown or black.
Right. But that's also called the Omnibus Curry Act. It's how your cuisine got good.
Well, that was joining the EU and allowing cultured Europeans to open restaurants.
Ah,
Something had to happen
yeah.
Okay, so now we've got 4 minutes
until Brent.
until Brent has to.
Yeah, Brent, what do you got?
I got 2 minutes. That's 4:43 on my clock.
Well, I'm exaggerating.
Brent, tell us something before you leave that either you wanted to talk about or that you've discovered during the show that is exciting to you.
Oh,
Well-
nah, you don't want that because it's all football related at this point. Big football weekend. I don't know. I did shoot that link out about the Apple Paramount streaming bundle deal. That kind of interesting. No, I didn't even. I just literally saw it when we were getting ready to start the show. It just goes back to the point where the only companies that can really move the needle and all this content stuff are companies that don't rely on content for actually doing business. Apple, Amazon, throw Microsoft in there. Companies that content is not their main thing. It's like their, side dish. I don't know how these independent content companies make it. It's just, it's a cutthroat business. Frank knows this. You guys. It just feels like unless you're backed by a device maker of some sort who's making a lot of money doing something else, it's kind of hard to make a go at
Netflix.
it. We'll see
Yeah,
how long.
Netflix may be
I think I can feel Musk TV coming on.
All right. Well, on that note, I'll see you guys later. You guys have fun talking about that one.
Hey, you know what? We could do a great line. It would be Musk CTV.
And on that note, have a great
How about
weekend.
Frank proposing himself?
Happy Festivus to you guys.
Thank you, Brent.
Enjoy the rest of the conversation.
Well, carrying on with that, he's absolutely right. It's about those companies that have other things like Amazon and AWS, and but those kinds of things are what's going to make these bundles realities, because the companies that don't have other things to rely on will be able to rely on these other partners to make sure that their content gets out there. Regardless of whether they have a lot of content or even a lot of good content. I'm seeing so much incredible stuff on things like ITVX and Freevee. It's driving me crazy trying to figure out where it is I'm supposed to watch whatever it was I watched last night. It's just so complicated.
Okay, so give me some examples of this incredible content that you're alleging.
Freevee has I'm watching this new thing called Marathon: The Revenge of the Monsters, and I think that one's on Apple. So that doesn't count. But that doesn't count. Yeah. On Freevee, I think I'm watching I think that the Western about the Black Sheriff is on Freevee here. It is.
That's on Paramount.
So not okay. Well, there's an example, Paramount, which is not, that's a pure content play.
Paramount Plus, that is.
You know what? I'd have to go and look, because honestly, I watch so much stuff right now. I don't even know what I'm watching.
And why do you care? I don't even look at the label on the box. I just watch what's in the box.
Well, that's kind of what I do. I just sort of flip around and go, "Hey, that's a cool looking image. I think I'll watch that." And if it's no good, I'll just switch over and watch something else. It's an awful lot like, testing out a record for the first time. You drop the needle down on it, and if it doesn't strike you in the first few seconds, just pick it up, chuck it into the corner, and put another one on. That's sort of how I watch television these days. I don't think it's very quality television viewing, but every once in a while I run across something that I really enjoy. And I do enjoy this Marathon Monsters thing. And Slow Horses is back, which is just spectacular.
Yes.
I just wish that I could binge it, because I'm now sitting here waiting like this for the next episode.
Yeah, well, that's what happened to binging.
The Marathon Monsters that you're talking about, is that Monarch? Is that what you're talking about?
Yes. Yeah. Yeah, it's good. It's good.
If you're a fan of the monsters, have you seen the new Godzilla movie, Godzilla
No,
Minus.
no, that's my next. I'm going to sit down and watch that after I finish watching
I
the
think it's
Monster
only in the
series.
cinemas now.
So the biggest,
But here I am currently starting to get my DVDs for my Directors Guild.
Uh-huh.
They're starting to come in, so I'm expecting Napoleon any day. And
I think the biggest news on TV this week was that 41 million people watched Washington versus, was it Dallas, on Thanksgiving, and a total of 90 million people watched NFL on Thanksgiving, which is 1 in 3 Americans. And the whole narrative around that was the value of live sports.
Yeah.
And if you go back to people who don't have a content business, can afford things, the world's biggest companies buying the rights to live sports seems such a no-brainer. Like it's almost like sponsorship taken to the extreme. NFL by Saudi Aramco, and it's free, but you got to see Saudi Aramco everywhere.
Well, yeah. I mean, there's no doubt that live sports is a genre of that is going to keep broadcasting alive, but broadcasting, at least for a while, but broadcasting is dead, and it's all about the stream.
Yeah, but live
Even
sports is now
streaming
on
can't be very
streaming, so I don't
healthy.
see how it keeps broadcast alive. If you watch live sports on Apple TV, if you watch live sports on Amazon or Netflix, how does that help broadcast?
Well, only if it's produced by Comcast, for example, which has a lot of live sports.
What we're seeing, I think, is a problem that we see in a lot of emerging markets, where all of a sudden you get to a point where there's just too much supply and no business model makes sense. You're not going to see things get a lot better until there's some rationalization there. I have a call that I have to take from my veterinarian. This is Dennis.
Dennis can't afford a real doctor. He goes to a vet.
There's a cat tail in Dennis's shot, which is
very appropriate. Cat is well trained.
Yeah. Okay, I'll just sit here.
I'll keep the screen warm for you.
Yeah. Don't worry about me, Dad. I'll make sure there's a tail in the shot.
I think that cat might be peeing on his desk. I'm not sure.
Oh no.
Hey, Keith, that's 2 in a row. You're really blowing your brand here.
Yeah. I know.
You flew from LA to Germany and from Germany to London?
I flew from San Francisco,
San Francisco,
to San Fran to London last week. Oh no, it's still this week. Anyway, earlier in the week, I landed in London on Tuesday, flew to Hamburg on Wednesday, came back to London today, and I'm going back to San Francisco on Tuesday morning.
Boy.
And I leave for LA on Wednesday.
I went to see this amazing play called Ibsen's play called Ghosts.
I heard that's really good.
It's funny, The Guardian only gave it 2 stars because they said it was too depressing. But the whole point of the play is it's like amazing, extreme experiences, negative experiences of a family with the father and all the consequences thereof. And the ghost refers to the son and the daughter of the maid being the ghosts of the father and the maid. And it's got every terrible thing that humans ever do to each other in the context of a strong mother, the mother, who basically is the hero of the whole play because she had to deal with all this stuff. It's an amazing play in a candlelit theater with only probably 200 people or maybe less in the Globe, the Shakespeare Globe. So you literally could touch the actors on the stage. It was stunningly amazing. It was like such an experience to see it, and so real. You could feel the emotion.
That sounds amazing.
And then on Tuesday, I've got the opening night, Monday, the opening night of Woody Harrelson is in a play in Hammersmith called Ulster American, which I don't recommend you about.
That looks great. I saw Woody and the guy from who played the little creepy guy in the Lord of the Rings movies, and one of the women from I think it's the Chelsea Girls. They were on the One Show the other day, and they showed
Derry
some
Girls.
clips.
It's the one from Derry Girls.
Yeah, Derry Girls.
So whenever I'm in London, the theater is a huge draw for me because it's so good, and you want to see something. You know, I don't want to go to a musical of Harry Potter or all that stuff that's in London as well. I want some proper play with a meaning. It was really good.
Okay, once around the table, Dennis.
Oh, I got homework to do. I got to go check out Framingham, see what's going on with their geothermal.
Yeah, how's your pets? What did the doctor have to say? Everything okay?
Yeah, they just wanted to move up an appointment for the dog to Monday.
Dennis, we all know that you go to the vet, not the pets. You don't have to hide it.
That's ivermectin.
Okay, well, I guess that's once around the table, everybody except Dennis. Let's try Keith.
I'm missing California. I'm looking forward to coming back. And why? I have no idea why. Not because of Gavin Newsom, but just because, when you're out of America, you actually do appreciate many things about it that you don't when you're there.
Yeah. Michael.
Bye-bye, George Santos.
Frank, did I get you?
No, but I just second Michael's comment there. It just took longer than it should have, and of course the interesting thing I thought in the vote was the fact that the entire Republican leadership and most of the Republicans didn't vote to kick him out, or half of them anyway. That was just crazy.
The majority of the conference voted to keep him in.
Yeah,
and the entire leadership voted to keep him in.
One thing you guys should do is check out this hotel room. It is kind of weird. Look at this.
Where are you? What hotel is it?
It's the Standard.
Oh yeah,
Standard bed with a window with all these old-fashioned lights and everything.
The Standard is a bizarre place.
Yeah. Well, there's a rocking bar downstairs, and the kitchen closes in half an hour. So immediately we say goodbye. I'm going to go and eat.
Okay, well, let's give Tina a shot. Go ahead.
Since we met, we've said goodbye to Rosalind Carter, and we've all gotten reminded what a force she was. An equal she was to President Jimmy Carter, how he elevated that role and elevated her. She was quite something, and they had what a wonderful, beautiful love story. Just
did you watch the funeral?
I hate to think, though, that I don't think that President Carter will last much longer without her. He's been with her for so long, and those stories of, he's already, we know, is on his decline and aged. So, but farewell to Rosalind.
And Sandra Day O'Connor died today.
Oh,
yeah, and we lost Henry Kissinger yesterday.
And Charlie Munger
in the same cast.
No, that's for sure. Yeah, he was certainly not the great man that a lot of people thought he was.
I think that Biden's statement on his death was brilliant. It was basically, well, he died. I met him once. I disagreed with him. He kept butting in. Condolences to his family.
I actually consider him one of my heroes. I think he was an awesome statesman.
Well,
Okay.
Let me just quote Anthony Bourdain. If you've ever visited Cambodia, you will never cease wanting to punch Henry Kissinger in the nose.
Well, yeah, everyone has their flaws. I'll concede you that one.
Well, this is just a
That's
great
a pretty big
example
one.
of how history is always written by the winners.
Yeah.
Last thoughts, Mr. Gillmor?
Well, Kissinger, at least in the final days in the White House, he had to put up with Nixon crying and drinking, and so somebody had to
Losing
do it.
his mind.
His recent book about world power is fantastic. I mean, just the scope of his knowledge and his experience in his brain.
Look, I don't disagree with you, Keith. He was a regular guest on Nightline. So he was in our studio. I got to say, once a week it seemed like, because he and Ted were good friends, and so he was on the show a lot. He's a smart guy. There's no doubt about that. But he kept us in Vietnam way too long, and Cambodia. There's issues about some of the things that he did in that period of time that are hard to reconcile.
You mean like illegally bombing a country?
Yes. Yeah, there is that.
Yeah,
Nuremberg,
I will accept all of that and not defend him. But if you sum up his impact on the 20th century, or at least the second half of the 20th century, there's a lot more to his impact than those terrible things.
You know what? It's funny. Those
Did you see
terrible things I did not think about during the period of time when, in the 80s, when he was on Nightline during that period. I didn't think about those things, and I'm somebody that actually sat down with William Westmoreland and did an interview with him. So I thought about those things in historical context closer to the time that they happened.
I'll share with you off camera my William Westmoreland story.
I noticed that.
Did you see the Rolling Stone headline?
No.
Henry Kissinger, war criminal beloved by America's ruling class, finally dies. The infamy of Nixon's foreign policy architect sits eternally besides that of history's worst mass murderers. A deeper shame attaches to the country that celebrates him. By Spencer Ackerman.
We should let Keith go eat.
We should.
Sorry, I might have ruined his appetite.
No, you won't. I'm broad-minded enough to take the rough with the smooth.
Will it be some sort of English cuisine like bangers and mash or something like that?
I doubt it. I doubt it. Even the English know that English cuisine sucks.
What do they think about Scotch eggs? Are they any good?
A Scotch egg on a cold winter morning, especially if you dunk it in ketchup, it can be quite delicious.
Yeah, it's good for your heart, Steve.
There's a ring
one.
endorsement.
You should try one.
Basically,
Steve.
for those who don't know, it's a cold, hard-boiled egg surrounded with cold sausage, surrounded with breadcrumbs,
and then deep fried.
And then deep fried?
No, you eat it cold.
Ah, okay. Well,
I mean, some people may warm them up, but maybe we just didn't have enough heating in our house, but we ate them cold.
it must have been invented in a monastery.
Yeah, by the same guys that were making the wine.
Good for a picnic. All right.
Thanks to everybody who showed up, and especially
Those who didn't.
I'll see you again next time. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Cheerio.